Nicole, it's good to talk to you today. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Yeah, it's another gloomy day in California. I heard from my
It
Tweety
is,
birds
yeah.
over there. That's too bad. You guys will get through it. I believe in you. I believe in you. So, excited to talk with you today. If you wanted to start by just giving a brief intro on who you are and what to do and who you're here with.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Nicole Morrison. I am the Marketing Communications Director for Goodwill of Orange County. I think a lot of people are familiar with Goodwill, which is an awesome part, about being part of the Goodwill network. But for us, we are within the Orange County, California territory line. So we have 25 stores here locally and several additional donation sites, and everything we do, all of the thrift and all the resale that we do fuels the bigger mission to help people find great jobs. So it's people who maybe have never worked before, people with disabilities, and we help connect those dots for them to find sustainable careers. So the most rewarding part of this job is that I get to be a part of this bigger purpose, and it makes all the long hours worth it.
That's awesome. Are those careers typically within the Goodwill organization? Or do you guys partner with other groups to kind of place them?
It's a mix of both. We really look at ourselves and our stores as a training ground to get you started. So our doors are always open. We will always give people a chance to start their careers here. But then we have several partners outside of the Goodwill, out of our network who are also getting great jobs. I mean, big companies like Oakley, Edwards Life Sciences, Disneyland, they're also, providing these great career opportunities. And so it's a mix of both, but we always like to say, we have this saying in the company that we say, come to Goodwill, start or leave here with a great career.
Oh, that's awesome. Way cool. I'm glad we jumped right into it, but as I do in these conversations, I always like to take a step back, especially when we're talking about getting your career started. And Goodwill sounds like it does some great work there. But how about yourself? How did you first get started in marketing? Were you someone that always knew they wanted to be in marketing, or what's the background there?
Yeah, I was one of those lucky ones who had my eyes on a career path really early on. So I did, out of high school, go to college for journalism and ended up doing the public relations track. So I initially was really hyper-focused on PR and worked at a number of different agencies across different industries, fashion, retail, did a stint with some swimwear, and then moved into nonprofits. And that's where I really kind of opened up a new world for me. And then with coming in-house at Goodwill of Orange County, started in that PR role, but then it really expanded into so much more communications. And then flash forward a few years, and now I'm taking on the whole marketing department. So it's really widened my scope, and it's been really fun to really dig in and learn more. I mean, marketing is ever evolving. There's so many facets to it. So it's definitely a bit of learning on the go, learning on the fly, but it's been really fun and really rewarding. So loving it.
That's awesome. I always tell colleagues that are looking to potentially make a switch, marketing can be such a great role because you really have to have your hands in every facet of the business. Like you can't work on an island in marketing, right? And I'm sure with all the things you have going on, that can be pretty dynamic. Yeah,
definitely. I think too with Goodwill, I think most people know us for our thrift stores, but as I mentioned, that mission side of things, it uses all sides of my brain, right? We get to be really creative in what we're doing for the stores in retail, but then I really get to use this different side, this heart side of how do I talk to employers to get them to take a chance on our program participants. Maybe they haven't considered hiring somebody with a disability before. And so I get to help kind of open those doors and make those connections. So it is very multifaceted and very fun.
Yeah. For those that may hear that about, the helping people on their careers and getting started, maybe if they don't, let's say, own a business and have job opportunities, is there another way they can support that cause? What would be the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, great question. I mean, it all starts with the donations. So we always say that the donations kind of kick off this cycle of good. So a great way for everyone to get involved is just to drop off their gently used goods. And that really kickstarts this whole process. When we are able to resell those donated goods, that provides the funding to make our mission possible. It also helps keeps goods out of the landfill and the local waste streams.
Yeah.
So that's a huge piece of it as well. So it's a small act that really has this ripple effect of a ton of good. And we take everything: clothing, home goods, working or non-working electronics, furniture, any of it. So as you're, considering spring cleaning or any of that, Goodwill is a great place where you can feel really good that every donation is really, that value is maximized to help people. So
that's awesome. And for those that may be interested in like partnering with Goodwill on like a larger level, like are there certain types of careers or jobs that Goodwill seeks out, most frequently to place people at, or what would be a good call out there?
Good question. I think it's very specific to the different communities. So here in Orange County, there are definitely certain types of industries that are often hiring here. So for us, there's a lot in hospitality here. We're a big tourism destination in Orange County. We have a lot in healthcare, growing in the tech industry. But depending on where you're based, because I'm sure, we might have people that tune into this that are all over the country, different Goodwills really fill the needs of their communities. So, in the Midwest, those jobs look very different from what they look like here. So it kind of spans the gamut. And I think if that's something that, if you do have connections at an organization or a business, I would say reach out to Goodwill. It's always a great place to start. We're always looking for new employers to partner with. And our program participants, we want to match them to careers that they're interested in too. So in that assessment process, we say like, what is your dream? Do you want to be a nurse? Do you want to be a graphic designer? And we really try to find those employer matches to make, every dream possible.
It's awesome to hear about the community involvement that Goodwill has. I know a lot of businesses are always looking for ways to, support that kind of stuff, even if they don't have like a full, solution like Goodwill might. And with all that, let's say, I wanted to say Goodwill, but I didn't want to be too cheesy, that you're building, is there a particular project or initiative specifically that you've worked on in the past that you'd say you're most proud about in your career with Goodwill?
Great question. I will say this is a recent win. Last year, Goodwill of Orange County celebrated our centennial anniversary. So that's 100 years of serving our community. And so with that, it just provided so much opportunity to have some fun and be really creative about how we engage the community. So I'm really proud of, how we did that. We did so many things. We hosted an amazing, gala for our big fundraisers and foundations locally. We also created a really cool standalone newspaper that delivered to all the homes in Orange County that just talked about our legacy in the community and what our vision is for the next 100 years. We did some really great videos. We had a ton of social campaigns, and then we drove a lot of traffic to our retail stores during that time to be a part of this legacy year, be a part of our milestone. So it was a really fun year, and it was a lot of planning. And so it was very cool to see it all play out. And now coming off of that, I'm like, I'm glad we have a break before another milestone anniversary, but it definitely added a lot of, excitement to what we were doing. So
yeah, I wonder what the statistics are of companies that make it 100 years. That's incredible. So congratulations to everyone over there. And when you think back to all the different, methodologies for how we communicate over the last 100 years, that's probably a whole college course in itself. Yeah. But what have, just focusing more recently, what have you seen in the last few years that have kind of evolved within marketing and some challenges, and how are you dealing with them at Goodwill?
Yeah, I think for Goodwill specifically, because we've been around for so long, I think we found ourselves kind of repeating business as usual and not necessarily adapting to the changes in how people are consuming content as quickly as we probably should have. So over the past few years, I've really worked diligently to kind of turn that ship and meet people where they are, which is online. It's on social media. It's, on TikTok, that's where people are getting their news, and we weren't showing up there. And so it took a lot of work and a lot of kind of changing old habits to shift our marketing focus that way and really digging into data, right? Like we now have access to so much information about our donors, our shoppers. And so we have made this big change and really starting there first, right? Trying to really understand who takes the time to thrift with us, who is donating to us, and then showing up where they are already consuming their content. So I think it was a challenge for sure, because most of our ad spend budget up to, I would say, maybe 3 years ago was still going to print media, which is crazy when you think about newspaper subscriptions and magazine subscriptions going way, way down. And so now we are a lot more kind of lean and mean. Our ad dollars go so much further when we're doing social media ads versus spending all of our money to place a beautiful but way less read, glossy magazine ad. So I think that's been a really fun challenge to take on. It's like, we are an older organization, and now we kind of get to be Goodwill 2.0, right?
Yeah.
We get to make really cool social media videos. We get to have digital ads. We get to do streaming commercials now. So it's been fun to be a part of the team that's kind of led that future transformation for Goodwill and make sure we're not still showing up as like your grandma's thrift store, because that's not who we are. We are modern, cool. Gen Z loves to thrift, so we need to be talking to them.
Absolutely. And when you talk about, the legacy and history of 100 years of Goodwill, there's no shortage of data to sort through in terms of past customers and where they've come from and all of those things. So how do you kind of, with such a large data set, how do you kind of make decisions from that? Do you bias things a lot more recently? Do you look at historicals? Do you leverage any third-party vendors to help sort through that? What does that look like for Goodwill?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mix. We definitely are fortunate because we've been around for so long. We do have a lot of loyal repeat customers. So we are able to go directly to our customer base, get that first party data. We have a ton of information we collect via newsletters and even just surveying in the stores, talking to the folks that shop with us. So we use a lot of that first party data to understand how often do you come and what are you looking for? What might you not be finding with us, and really use that to build some of these campaigns. But then just this year, we also started using a third-party company called Placer AI to really better understand the bigger scope of who our customers are, which has helped us tremendously drill in on specific segments of our customers, right? Because I think so many people use Goodwill for different reasons. And now we are able to really segment, let's say, we were facing a shortage of donations, right? So now we're able to target just those who donate to us versus having to cast this wide net, and maybe it would hit some shoppers and some donors, and maybe our ad dollars wouldn't be used as effectively. And now we're really able to use that Placer AI data to hit those donors exactly where they are, exactly where we know we get the best donations from. So that's kind of helped us drill into data in a different way, and really refine how we're targeting certain folks to meet certain organizational goals.
Oh, it's awesome. And within Placer AI, are you using you're using the persona live data sets within that, right? So they're kind of doing all that segmentation and analytics for you.
Yeah. And then they kind of put our key audiences or our customers into these unique, they have these unique names for everything. So we know exactly who our segments are. We know what channels they prefer. We know, are they coming to Goodwill before or after work? We're able to kind of really create these really unique campaigns that really connect with our consumers because we know so much about their activity.
No, it's very powerful. And we, even at Aduro, we feel a lot of customers come to us with like a CSV of their, like, here you go. It's like, well, hold on. What types of customers they are? When did they last visit? Are they frequent customers? There's so many more insights you can get with, a partner like Persona Live or a number of other tools out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you you have a lot of foot traffic. I'm sure, you have some stuff coming online as well. when you look at all these like new marketing initiatives you've been doing recently, like digitally and things like that, how have there been challenges with placing kind of the attribution behind what's driving what, and how do you kind of navigate that transitioning from some of the legacy models to some of these new age things like streaming TV and social media and things like that?
Yeah, I would say it's an ongoing challenge. I think this year, as I mentioned, we were facing a shortage of donations. And, as I described, that is the starting point for everything we're able to accomplish at Goodwill. So it was a big challenge for us to try to, turn around and get our donation numbers up. And we kind of deployed a ton of tactics at one time. And now we're seeing this incredible spike in donations, which is exactly what we hoped for. And now I'm kind of faced with this, okay, what's really working to drive those numbers? Should I be, adding more spend to one tactic versus another? And so we are at this tipping point where we have the momentum now, the numbers are turning around. So now we're going to start taking a look and dialing back certain tools to see if that changes anything. Yeah. But I would say, because it's been a long road of us being down on donations, I'm hesitant to do that right now. Something in the mix is working, so I don't want to disrupt it too much. But I think that's going to be kind of a future step for us, is maybe turning one tactic off and seeing if we see a dip, and then, testing that from there.
Yeah. I think there are so many different, attribution models and different gizmos out there. But at the end of the day, if you have multiple locations and you can afford a little variability, one of the best ways is just do an old-fashioned A/B test, and kind of suss it out, right?
Yeah.
Well, kind of switching gears here, because you have to rely on a number of different partners, whether it be Persona Live for some of the data or us at Aduro for some of the streaming. And when you're managing all these different channels and all these different vendors, what, if you think about your most valued partnerships and the ones that maybe have been the longest or most impactful, what kind of sticks out among those vendors? Like, are there common themes to how those vendors work with Goodwill and what they do for you?
Gosh, I think the theme between the vendors who have really been great partners with us and who have helped us move the needle in these different areas, is just someone who really takes the time to understand who we are and what we're trying to accomplish. I think we have an incredible digital marketing agency we work with, who just really, before anything, really wanted to dig into like, what are we really trying to accomplish here? What is going to be, the thing that I get to report up to leadership that's going to say, oh my gosh, marketing is contributing to all of this success. And I think with Aduro too, with our launch, it was so much planning into like, what are you trying to accomplish here? And, will we be able to track that? What, who are we trying to talk to? So I think it kind of goes into, we've had vendors in the past who are like, of course we can do whatever you need, but there was no time to really understand the Goodwill model or, what we needed to accomplish. So I kind of feel like that's that key element that makes the difference, is like the team wanting to really invest in what we need to accomplish and really wanting to be a partner in making that happen, and not just a set it and forget it, but constantly checking in. Are your numbers up? Okay, maybe we refine this. Maybe we widen our targets. So I think we've felt that, certainly with you guys. And then we've had a couple of other amazing unicorn vendors in the past.
Awesome.
But it's not always the case. So it's been, you have to break up with some people sometimes.
Yeah, you do. The thing we talk about as a team a lot is just every business is unique, right? And there's no boilerplate template that's going to drive results across the board. And getting to know your clients that work there day in and day out is one of the best ways to get closer to that goal, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really encouraged to hear that. Recently, we've kind of hinted at it a few times throughout this conversation, but recently we did launch a new CTV campaign for Goodwill. We partnered directly with Persona Live to ingest that data you've been talking about that leverages your first party data to target some of those like key segments that are more frequent donators for you. And I just want to check in. How have those results been so far?
They've been incredible. So as I mentioned, we were connected with Aduro at this time where like donations were down significantly, especially in one part of our county. And, we were up against this problem, needing to make pretty quick action to turn that around. And for somebody like Goodwill, who we run one CTV campaign prior to working with the Duro, we had no idea really what to do, how it's supposed to run, what kind of measurement would we get back, how do we know if it's working. And again, with the conversations with the Duro, is very much like, okay, tell me what you want. What would be a win out of this campaign? What do you want to see? What locations are we looking at? How do we drill down into those? And it was just like from the very beginning, it was so clear that we were going to build this campaign to really meet those specific needs. It wasn't just something that, oh, it works for other clients, so we're sure it'll work for you. It was built for Goodwill, so that's why we felt so confident going into it. And now, I mean, we've been partnered for over 3 months, and we've seen huge spikes in our target locations. And I can even drill in specifically to what we've seen, if that's helpful. But we've had, so the goal of this campaign, working together, was our South County location. So that's the southern part of Orange County. And we just saw this huge dip. We weren't getting a lot of activity down there. Our locations were struggling. And so we, using Persona Live data to understand who those donors were in those counties, we created this campaign. And I can tell you that donations at this point are up significantly at several of those target locations. So specifically, we have one location in the city of Lake Forest, and donations as of today are up 244% over last year.
That's incredible.
And then in our Irvine location, also a priority location, donations are up 147% over last year. And then San Juan Capistrano, donations are up 48% over last year. So these are like incredible numbers. And it was, I would say it took about a month for us to refine the targets just right. And then it was like something clicked and the numbers just started climbing. And it's been so fun to check in on them and see, this incredible trajectory. And, that's sustained. It hasn't plateaued. It hasn't dropped off. We're continuing to see a rise. And I know this partnership is part of making that happen. So our campaign, running these fun, humorous commercials saying it's time to donate, it's time to clean out your closet, they're hitting the right people and they're motivating them to take this action that we've wanted. So it's been a huge success. And I get to report that up to our leadership, and they're, loving what they're seeing. And it gives me, gives the marketing department kind of more room to create these ad campaigns, to continue to invest in CTV, because it's part of the formula that's working.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's really encouraging to hear, and honestly, just like cutting the take, like, thank you for that. Like, truly, it's one thing, like, just as like someone as our organization, like hearing how impactful Goodwill is in the community, and like seeing those results, like that stuff gets the team fired up, and it's so encouraging to hear. So thank you for sharing. That's awesome to hear about the results for those campaigns. And I think the power of having the right data with the right partner, and then the right, partner to deliver these streaming ads, marrying that up can be incredibly impactful. And I know that when you work with Persona Live, there's a tons of different segments in there to choose from. Did the platform make it easier for you to pick the best ones? Do you kind of sort through a lot of things? Like, if you could speak about how do you make those decisions on which segments to target?
Yeah, we really drill into, the specific location we are hoping to see a spike in. So for us, it was, like I mentioned, those South County locations. And so within Placer and within the Persona Live, add-on or piece of Placer, we were really able to drill in specifically to those locations. And what we did was kind of prioritize where we're seeing 70% of our customer base come from. So while you can see a breakdown of so many different segments, we really prioritize where the majority are coming from. Within Placer, they really help you see where the majority of your customers are coming from. So we really prioritize where, 70% roughly of our customer base is coming from, and then drilled into those segments. And then we're able to really seamlessly share that information with a Duro, and then they take the time to understand, okay, so how do we put those targets into our CTV campaign? And it was really seamless to kind of share that data and then talk through that data together to make sure, everything's firing on the right cylinders and we're talking to the same people.
One last question for you, Nicole. If
Okay.
anyone out there that's listening is choosing which OTT CTV vendor to use, what do you have to say to them?
I would say Aduro is a great place to start. Certainly, I think even just to kick off conversation, for me, it sealed the deal because it was just, they cared so much about what I was trying to accomplish. It really didn't feel like I was just a client. It was, what are you trying to do? Who is Goodwill? Who are your donors? So I think even that kickoff conversation would probably give, someone interested in a CTV vendor all they need. But I would definitely recommend Aduro to other people trying to launch some CTV campaigns. And we've been so happy. So,
well, I appreciate the endorsement, Nicole. That was super lovely to hear. And it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. And I hope it gets a little more sunny in Southern California. We don't want any of those clouds. And I look forward to also partnering with you long term to help drive more of the, not only donations for Goodwill, but getting more of those people in their careers started.
Yeah. Thank you so much.